Someone's coming out.
Yeah. It's lit, fam.
Hey, yo!
Yes, my dude.
The Poorman Podcast.
That's our new intro.
Yeah, because
Someone's dick. It hasn't even came out yet, man. We've been saying it for like 20 episodes.
Is it Swarg? Swagger?
Swagger.
So we got it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Found it now.
Oh, man. We've been gone for a while.
Yeah, we took a little short break. I had to figure some stuff out. Just also doing comedy and living life, which can get pretty complicated in a way. But
okay, Alan.
yeah, no, I wasn't trying to make it sad. I'm just saying, like, you know, like we had shit to do.
Yeah.
So we're back though. We're gonna
Still poor man's.
yeah, Poor Man's Podcast. We're gonna steam ahead. I'm Jay Moody. This is Pauly Ray.
Hey.
There he is. Yeah, and we're gonna pretty much today. We've both been kind of, I said today, like Australian. Pretty much we've been kind of talking about existence and also life stuff. Like how much, you know, like regular personal stuff, and then also like, why are we such tiny little ants and goddamn?
We've just been Calvin and Hobbesing it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would be Calvin.
Yeah. Is that the tiger?
No.
Oh, so I'm Hobbes?
Yeah.
Perfect, man. 1986, you're the tiger, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tigers are also scary as fuck. I don't think I'm scared as fuck. I hope I'm not.
No, you're just like.
I mean, maybe like on an emotional level.
Ugh.
Yeah. We're going to go there. No, we're not going to go there. We've been talking about existence. And
We're both very aware that we're in front of microphones right
yeah,
now.
I know. It's you want to just have a conversation, man?
I'm scared of this.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think there's more to this, or do you get like the amount of goes around the sun that you get?
I think. Whatever. if anything comes after like life or like after death, because that was the point. Like you didn't exactly. But anyway, yeah, this is terrible.
Well,
if you exist past life or past death or whatever, I don't think that you're gonna remember anything.
Yeah, that's
about
what we were talking
you're
about
gonna
earlier.
exist new. Like if you do,
like the human, the idea of the eternal human soul, not just in like a religious context, but like a multiverse. Like all the versions of you is just part of your soul experiencing all of it. And like it's kind of like the human body. Like you don't remember, like your cells make you up, but you don't remember them or their memories. You know.
Or like that's how Professor Farnsworth, he calls it life force, and they call it souls, and he gets like on Futurama and he gets pissed off and he's like, it's life force, this is science, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that life force. That life force, like, so, because, I mean, like, if there is a human soul, you know,
right?
Everybody has one, and if you think about the multiverse and that concept, there's a infinite amount of the universes that have you in different versions, from every decision you've ever made to completely absurd, like you're the predator.
Right.
So if everything that could be, can be, and is, that's it. But all those things might make up one whole, you know. You might actually just be this Pauly in this one universe on an acid trip right now, and even though your brain can't remember it, these are all the things you did. Or you were in a dream. Like, this is a dream. And you just wake up tomorrow and you're like, what the fuck?
And you'd be like, I just got inceptioned.
Exactly. And it felt like your whole life. But that's what consciousness is. That's why it's so like this weird thing, because nobody knows enough about it to tell you what it is, so everybody gets the opportunity to interpret it different. Is that necessarily, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's like I was, somebody was talking to me about like chakras and shit the other day, and it's fine if that's what you believe, but they got into like subconscious like patrollers or something like that, some weird shit, and I was just like, it doesn't. None of that stuff registers to me anymore. Like, I can't do the weird fucking belief systems.
The foo-foo shit?
It all just sounds so strange now.
Yeah.
It used to trip me out. It used to trip me out a lot.
Because of the possibility thereof.
Yeah, but I'm not, I don't know, I'm not, I think it tripped me out, and then I was really mad about it for a long time. About, the best way to put it is mad at God, or however you want to put it, just like that existential crisis that, and now I just don't care. Whatever it is, most fucking religions in the world have the same, like, foundation, and it's be good to people for the sake of being good to people. Just to do it. And what a lot of people want to say now is, like, be good to people to get your, like, crowns in heaven, or so God will fucking spank your hiney less. And I just, it doesn't.
Perfect way to word it.
Yeah, and it's
because
it's
it's childlike behavior to want that.
It doesn't make sense to me to, like, want to, like, pander to anyone for personal gain. That's what heaven and hell feels like to me.
Yeah,
it's just like, do it or you're gonna roast, but also, like, do it just and, like, smile at people and be like, yeah, I'm doing this so when I die I can high five, like, you know, my uncle that died. It doesn't, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's also, like, a really, like, the concept that, like, just, like, you're gonna live forever in bliss or torture, and so, like, what?
And who wants to be happy forever?
Jesus
who wants
Christ.
to just be like, that's the whole concept behind Fear of Clowns, is like the forever frozen happiness.
This is like me. Like, sometimes I enjoy being sad. It's not like I want to be sad because I like that, but, like, in that moment, I'm like, you know what? When I feel better about this, like, this was worth it to feel better. You know? And you're like, all right, I'm good now.
Yeah, exactly.
Have my moment. I was sad about something, and then you let it go, and you're like, all right, I'm good.
It's like Butters tells those emo kids. He's like, you know, in South Park, he's like talking about how, like, sure, he's sad right now, but he'll get over it. He's not, you know, he's like, I'll move on, I'll be happy again, and I'll be sad again. And then when he walks off, he's like, I'm not like you emo pussies or something like that. I was just like, damn. Ouch.
Butters, you thug. What's the thing is, though, like, those moments where you are happy and sad, man, that's good. That goes on for, like, that's your life.
Right.
People just, there's this weird thing right now where people just want ups. Like, food's real easy to get. You can drive through food, like fast food, whatever. Like, no one's ever, like, enjoying being, like, inconvenienced. It's almost like that's translated to our feelings at this point as society. People want instant gratification, and they don't want to be sad at all. Like, what? Like, that's part of this. It's part of this existence.
Right.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. No one likes to be sad. I don't like to be sad. It sucks. But in those moments of sadness, that's when you really kind of reevaluate yourself. And then it's also whenever you look towards, like, what have I been kind of, like, ignoring for myself? And then you're able to enjoy the like, the happy moments a little more, because, you know, like, life can be pretty shitty. So I should probably enjoy this thing that's awesome while it's happening, because you never know. A week from now, something can happen and you're fucking sad again.
Such a, like, weird concept. Well, I think, like, heaven is because of that. Like, it's just you're happy forever.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, who wants that?
I don't know. Well, it doesn't, like, register to me. It doesn't. I don't understand what about that would make sense. Like, how are you experiencing anything? How are you experiencing anything if you're just forever fucking blissful? Like,
yeah, but this is the thing for me. It reminds me of like that child mentality, where, like, children, like, you give them certain foods, they only want to eat it because they like the way it tastes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you're an adult, you're able to look at, like, well, I should probably have a certain amount of carbohydrates, certain amount of protein, certain amount of fats. not as much show, then, not this much. Like, kids don't think of it like that. They just enjoy the pleasure of it.
Right.
So, and that's how most people's, like, emotions or just, like, their interactions with society have become, is this childlike mentality. That's why you have this outrage culture where so many people are, like, like the white knight, the social justice warrior, is because they're not, like, looking at things introspectively. They're not going, like, oh, here's this subject. And they just go off the initial feeling they had. Nothing else.
Yeah, it's like
I need to look this up, figure it out, like find out where I stand on this, because I've looked at both sides and everything in between. But no, they just go like, no, that made me feel bad, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's not as far as a society goes, or just people, or even on a personal level, that's probably not the best mentality to have. I feel like you're not taking me serious because I'm wearing these fucking sunglasses.
Yeah, man. That's irritating. It's like I was reading something on Tumblr not too long ago, and it was like this little white girl dressed in a fucking kimono, and like she had this like traditional Japanese tea set and all this different stuff, and this person, I don't remember the name of any of the fucking posters, but they were talking about, one person posted and she was like, this is so fucked up, this is cultural appropriation, all this different shit. And then this girl from Japan got on and she just like ate this girl's lunch and like maybe a half a paragraph, and then had like a whole nother 3 fucking pages about it. Like she was like, she killed her. Yeah. It was insane. It was like, and she talked about how it's like in Japan they want you to be part of their customs. They want to show you, they want you to experience their customs. If you do it, it's kind of like respect towards their culture. And she was talking about how the tea set and the kimono and everything about it was like super accurate and all this different stuff. I was like, that's crazy that people just get on there like to... But that's the fucking age of the internet. In all honesty, like people getting on the internet just to be like, oh, fuck you. Like that's...
There's also like... This is the thing with the internet. It's almost like kind of like an escape from our reality to another one, and it creates these like options that are like, maybe you don't need that many. You know what I'm saying? All right, so like porn. Whenever you're a young man, before you had a cell phone in your hand, you'd have to like find a nudie magazine, or find like where your dad hid his VHS.
Right.
And you're like just being nosy, and you're like, what's this? And you put it in, and you see it. And you get a boner. And you're like, what the fuck is happening right now? And the same thing with like dating apps, like Tinder and shit like that. This might not be the best idea to have that many options of people that you've never fucking met. Like, without Tinder or any dating apps, you have to meet people where you are. You have to take that chance on circumstance to meet somebody that you can vibe with.
Yeah, first world.
Exactly. You give people too many options, they're gonna fucking digress and go to the simplest option, which is to either like something or not like something, and then be very passionate because they don't really have an outlet for their shit because they're not experiencing it in person. They're not getting those like endorphins or
just counting likes.
They're just like looking at something, they read an article and they didn't like it. It wasn't like having a conversation at a bar with somebody who opposed your opinion. It's not the same thing. Yeah. So you're just shitting on it because you want to see like how many people agree with you and how people don't. I feel like that's kind of that's not the best thing, the internet's the best thing because
that's like the
information is at your fingertips. But for the rest of our lives that people replace with things that are on the internet, like dating apps, as opposed to being where people are, and in social media, as opposed to talking to people and stuff like that, that's maybe not the best thing.
And it's not even like social media is amazing.
Yeah,
social media is awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it'll give you the ability to connect information at our fingertips.
When, like, I feel like, and I think a lot more people than you would imagine take it as the little fucking sweet thing that it is, but there's such a huge like percentage of people that like their entire day is based on like how many likes they get, and it's like
there's also people that do that, like that's their career. All the ads you see that you get annoyed with, there's somebody's job to design those ads to get into your fucking head and they put them in where they can. And that's also based off of stuff that you've looked at from the same phone. You know, it's all cookies. And, you know, they just passed that law where they could sell your personal information to third parties. Like, that's what your phone's doing. Like, I'm on my phone all day. I get it. But I also have, like, non-root firewalls and stuff like that. So the apps that I'm using, those are the only ones going to the internet.
Right.
There's no other access to any of my other apps from anything. And it's kind of the way I want it. But for the average person with a cell phone in their hand, you're thinking that you're living your life through your phone, and it's really people mining data about you from your use of your phone.
Isn't that weird?
Yes. That's a sellable, that's a resource right now. Buying people's what they are, who they are, and like you get them to come in and show you everything because they feel like they're getting it good from you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like on Facebook, like, oh, it's so convenient, it's right on my phone. They got the Domino's app. So now AT&T knows what you eat, what you enjoy to a degree, all the YouTube videos you like what kind of music you're in, and they mine that data and they sell it to a third person or a third party. And that's when you start getting ads on Instagram. You're like, what the fuck? How do you know that I watched an instrumental gent video earlier? Because they mined all that shit.
Yeah.
And put it together in a nice little package. It's like you are like a pitch. It's like we have this product. And this is also we're talking about, like, because we started this with existence.
Right.
So if you think about existence, what, as far as actual resources, metals, dairy, what of that has any value without people? It's what it is.
Right.
Actually occurring is free.
Yeah.
Like if you're a wolf and you get a cow, you got a cow. Eat it.
Right.
But people put dollar values on like everything. So like your cell phone, all this stuff, and these are all made out of goods, and then people put prices on that. But without the people to buy the things that you put prices on, it's all worthless.
Right.
You ever thought about that?
No.
Because there's a guy somewhere engineering like the newest tablet, and he gets paid by a company that determines his worth.
Right.
And that company sells the good at a price they consider it for their worth. But if the people they're selling to don't buy it, it's worthless. Like recalled phones, all that shit.
Right.
They're hunks of shit right now that you have in like a dresser drawer that nobody gives a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing, there's like lithium in the battery, iron, copper,
right,
plastics. They're polymers, so they're made from natural gases under pressure, turned into other gases, and those are put under a different pressure. There's this huge process that goes into the making of that cell phone. Without you to buy it, it's worthless. So, human beings are the only resource there are. Like, without us, gold doesn't mean shit. It's a rock and a river. Because a tiger doesn't give a fuck about gold. Neither does a deer or a bird.
right.
People do. So without that, it's worthless. So without people to put values on, there's no currency. Without currency, there's no society. So we got ourselves in this weird trap, and I just rabbit holed the fuck out of that, man. My bad. We may have...
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Moody.
Yeah, I may have smoked a little... I may have smoked a little marijuana. I may have a few things in my mind. Sorry.
So I...
There's a lot of pressure on my bad.
I
have a cat on my shoulder.
You do. It was on my shoulder. I didn't want to leave, but I made it. Now it feels bad, so I went back to you.
Mia's in the studio.
She is so fat.
She's getting... Dude. I don't know what she's like. Dude, if you like pick her up, she's like feels kind of solid, then you just touch her midsection. It's like somebody took butter and stuffed inside a shag carpet. It's just like this squishy, soft thing. I don't know why she's this soft. And she's super sweet, dude. I trained her to walk up the bicycle and jump on my shoulder.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Dude, we have, Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she caught a squirrel yesterday.
Did you kill it?
Not yesterday, it was a couple days ago. But yeah, she had to have climbed a tree for it because she's been climbing those trees since she was like a tiny little baby cat. Mm-hmm. And she's up there all the time. And dude, I saw her the other day and I heard weird crunching and I was like, what are you doing? And I looked over and she had a whole fucking squirrel. And she's a little cat. And she ate the whole thing. She ate half of it and I was like, you need to finish your dinner. And then I got home after work that's probably the same, pretty sure the same day. It was like that night. And I looked where she left it and it wasn't there. And I looked around the yard and it wasn't there. So I was like, she must have ate the rest of that thing.
Yeah. How big was the squirrel? Like an adult squirrel?
Yeah, it was like a
one?
No, it was like a fucking.
So a pretty decent sized cat squirrel.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I was proud of her. I was like, good job, you little hunter-gatherer.
Dude, when I was a kid, we had this cat. We got him at the Walmart in Orange. Like people giving out kittens in the parking lot,
Yeah.
He's like this little like blue-gray ball of fluff, dude. And like within half a year, he's the biggest cat. He's the biggest cat I've ever seen. Like, he was giant. Like, from his nose to his butthole, like, shoulder width. Like, and stocky and stuff. And he clawed out my grandma's dog's eye. Because there was a possum in the trash can. So me and my brother, we had this, like, collapsing frog gig.
Right.
Because we grew up in the country, So, like, we were like, we're going to stick that possum that comes out of the trash can. So we did. And as soon as it, like, latched on the possum, the cat jumped on top of the trash can and grabbed the possum. So then we just like took it and swung the stick over, and the cat and the possum are attached to the stick. And they both lay on the ground, and the cat still, the Keto, that's what we called him, he was still attacking the cat. And my grandma had this German Shepherd named Junior, and he had one brown eye and one blue eye. And he ran up, and Keto just popped him in the face. It looked like, like a cat will just like tap stuff. Dude, he called his brown eye out. She had to get it, not his asshole, but his brown eye, so she had to have it sewed shut, and he was like so scared of that cat after there. And then like she had a tomcat that was white that she fixed, but he was still coming around like attack other cats, and Keto killed that fucking. He like ripped his throat out. It was gross. I think he might have been like kind of not all there because he would climb up trees and like this one tree where the power lines were. All the branches were gone on one side, so he'd climb up at like 10, 15 foot and just jump out, and he'd do it over and over.
I think he was training.
I think he was retarded.
He's like, I'm gonna catch a bird flying under this branch.
He brought like a little baby water moccasin on our porch one time. And my dad was going to work in the morning. And he opened the door and he was like, what the fuck? I remember him yelling like, what the fuck? Because our bedroom was like right there. And we got this like, just little tiny snake. But apparently the cat was just like sitting on it. And waited for him to come out. And then just got up and walked away.
Yeah, I tried to kill him. I remember you telling me that story.
Yeah, get out of here, man. We're trying to record a podcast.
You're being real rude. You're a mascot, not a guest.
That cat got hit by a car, though. He dead.
Died.
Yeah. Probably doing what he loved. Hunting mammals and fucking. That's what it do.
Dude, I think Heyman got his balls caught on a fence.
Ugh.
Because we have chain link fences our entire backyard, and he's kind of dumb. Like, you tell that bit about that duck eating the pot brownie.
Mm-hmm.
Heyman got a hold of like a good sized chunk of a pot brownie when he was very young, and I think it broke him. Cause but he I think he jumped over a fence and got his little cat nuts caught. Cause now every time he jumps onto the fence, he holds himself there for a minute and sits angles himself weird and then jumps off. Like he's like, all right, careful,
Careful with this dismount.
Yeah.
You have the pokey tops that are twisted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. That's like, if you're going over that fence, you gotta guard your loins, dude, for sure. Mm-hmm. Is it guard or gourd?
Guard?
Guard? Is it guard?
I have no idea.
I think it's goid your loins. No, I'm
goid your loins?
No, because it's part of it's actually a folding method for the skirt things that men used to wear. They'd hike it up in the front and tie a knot.
Oh, okay.
So it's not actually guard your loins like prepared to keep people from hitting you in the nuts. It's you pull up the little because they would go past the knee and stuff, so they would bring it up tight in the front, so they'd be mobile. Their legs would be open, so they could run, or just be more agile. Well, yeah, so it's not actually like a guard your loins, like someone stabbing your dick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like someone stabbing your dick.
Give me that dick. Stab. They pull it out and just stick a knife in it. And now it's stuck to the table, all stretchy.
And you're like, what?
And then it's just, never mind. I don't like this dick stabbing conversation. I went the wrong direction with it in my head, and I was like, what if it just splits it like a little lizard tongue?
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go have a smoke break.
Okay. Back from the smoke break.
We made it back.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We don't even know if we have anything to talk about.
No, man. It's our first host episode in a long time. It's really our first episode together in a long time.
Yeah.
Schedules
have been conflicting.
Yeah, I've been running around like an idiot, doing all my idiot stuff.
Hey, man, me too. I've probably done my most idiot stuff recently.
But it's been a good hiatus. I mean, I didn't do as much stand-up like in the past month as I usually do. And I think I needed it. I think I needed to go have some new life experiences without the head of, like, I need to write that down.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. I feel like as a comedian, you feel really driven to tear into, like, writing. And you, like, it starts to feel, like, shitty when you're not writing. But I kind of rolled with those punches this time for a while. And I don't know. I think it's healthy. Obviously, it's healthy. Like, it's
kind of step away and look back with perspective.
Well, just step away and don't. I don't know. I've been like I write a lot, and I don't just write comedy, and so it was nice to step away and write other things for a while.
Yeah, focus on other endeavors.
Yeah, and then pick back up and see where you know.
Well, because this is the thing is like, if you're being honest with yourself as a comedian or a comic or a writer or whatever, like you can imagine a fair amount.
Jay wasn't supposed to have his phone in this episode, and
no, I wasn't. But you can imagine a fair amount. You know what I'm saying? But also, you need life experiences.
Yeah, you need to go out and you need to do shit.
To have an idea of what emotion is and how people react and things like that. If you really want to write, because writing, whether it's comedy, fiction, even nonfiction, you need to have an idea of how people are going to react to how you're wording things. You want to word them in the most interesting way as you can pertain to the topic.
That's the hard part is I think with like what I don't really post anything that I write that's serious or anything like that. I think I've sent out some writing pieces to people, but just to get feedback, to other writer friends to get feedback, and so like I think that's the hardest part is trying to convey how you are like how to convey the emotion that you're trying to write about in a way that is not just original but
genuine.
For
well, it's because like, man, it's really hard. Like most situations in life, like most whether like these little relationships or bigger things, like the emotions that they cause, like it's really hard to convey that if you've never experienced it, because that's really what you're trying. Like conveyance is really to like bring up that experience in the mind and to relate to where people will have the same feeling for that you had, so that it's an idea of like how you make something relatable. But how you make something relatable if you've never experienced it is very hard to describe.
And I don't know, I feel like relatability and like I think that there's like obviously a such thing as like vague relatability and personal relatability, right? And it's whenever you're writing your personal shit that because like I don't know, I write, like I journal, and then I write personal shit on a more, like from a more writer's perspective. Like I don't just write like little asshole in my journal. I like when there's like an in between area, and then there's the stuff that like I write that I am determined to show people one day. But there's like a weird middle ground where you're like, okay, I'm gonna write something about myself that I'm feeling or something like that, and it, there's a chance that one day I could put it out there.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you're, that in-between ground is probably, like, the scariest for me, just because it's, like, you're trying to convey an emotion, and it's not to tell people, like, how to feel while reading. It's just, like, to convey how you're feeling, and maybe someone else can relate to it. It's a little bit, I don't know, it seems a little bit more intimate.
Yeah, well, this is the thing is, because in that moment, like, when you're trying to get people to understand the emotion you're going through, you're very vulnerable. It's a vulnerable moment. You're putting yourself out there because you're doing it from experience.
Yeah.
It's like a personal experience. It might have been something near and dear to you and stuff like that. And to convey that is letting them know that you've been there.
Right.
So they know a little, like, that's, even if it's just in a story, that's still a little bit about the author. That's a feeling they've had. And that's a very vulnerable place. To let people know your experiences, and not so much just your experiences, because you could tell stories about whatever, but to convey the emotion that you had, that's super vulnerable. And I feel like that's why it's a scary thing. Or like a weird, like that, you talking about that gray area, that middle area, where it's like, do I want to let people know that I felt this way at some point, because maybe I wasn't, happy about it, or because it makes me look like, an idiot, or... I mean, I don't have any fear of looking like an idiot, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
because I mean, relatability is vulnerability to a degree,
right?
Because especially with emotions, if that's what you're trying to convey, like people have to know that you have done it because you have to actually describe it. And I feel like those master writers, are somebody who can get you to feel an emotion that they've never felt. Or that they're completely creating.
Yeah.
Like Stephen King. Perfect. You think he's been, like, scared that many times in his life?
I don't know. I feel like he's had pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Life. I mean, because one of the greatest writers of all time, clearly.
There's, like, a lot of different things in his books about, like, that are strictly based on his life. Things that are repetitive.
Yeah, but is he so good at writing that he can create that topic? Because at this point, it's starting to feel like there are some writers that are that good that they can completely falsify an experience, and they're that good at capturing the moment that you feel the emotion that they want you to convey, not the one they're trying to relate to you.
That's I'm a big fan of like Chuck Palahniuk for that, because he like a lot of pretty much everything he writes is like human experience. Mm-hmm. It's dark and it's generally gritty and it's like
the human experience.
And it's like hilarious, but it's like within that there's a lot of like he just fucking grabs you and shakes you until you are like feeling whatever character is feeling. And it's strange because I don't think that he's experienced like emotions of a person who's like hijacked a plane and is about to crash it into a building. Because of his cult involvement. I'm not going to say the name of the book, but yeah, it's just because, spoiler alert, don't read that book ever. Just don't, because I ruined it already for you. Moving on.
The name of it. They don't know the name of the book.
Oh, they can look that up. It's pretty easy. Check book. And it's really because I'm super high and I can't remember the name of the book, in all honesty. But
this is damn it, Alan. Alan's not here with us tonight. He usually is, but he wanted to call an early night.
He's a sleepy boy.
Yeah, so we went on without him, and now we don't have a person to look up fucking stupid little facts that we can't remember.
It'll hit me. I'll remember.
I hope it does right in your face. I didn't mean that, man. I'm sorry.
No, I hope it does too. Knock some sense into me.
I feel like both of us need some sense right now. Well, me more so than you. But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So That was a weird little personal joke that we're not going to get into because...
we can get into it. We're not getting into it personally. We'll get into it. We're talking about experience. We'll get into it. Well, not personally. There'll be no name said, no specifics of any relationships tonight. I promise. But we are talking about existence. That's pretty much where this came from. So we've talked about, being the best writer you can is an existence. And you're also kind of cataloging your existence. So we're sticking on theme. We're going old school like the first one where we talked about Antarctica. If you haven't listened to that, poormanpod.com, Poorman's Podcast on iTunes and YouTube.
We call that
Poorman, one word.
We call that the middle plug.
Yeah, it's really the only one we have. I don't know if we have any other plugs.
We never really
butt plugs.
Plug like the website or anything like that.
No, we should probably start.
We might want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. If you want to go to poormanpod.com.
Thanks for listening to us make good decisions about our podcast on our podcast.
Yeah, we're not.
Poor Man's Podcast.
Yeah, we're not leaving it though.
Poormanpod.com.
Anyways, so we were talking about existence, but it was like you're talking about the thing, the inside joke, the thing that's going on right now in my life. Like, this is all a learning experience, dude. I'm okay with talking about it. You know, that's why I said I wouldn't get personal. I wouldn't tell the exact situation, but it's a weird situation, and you never know when you're going to go through those. Whenever you're like, I'm good, my life's going this way or something like that, and then something comes in and just like throws a stick in your fucking spokes while you're riding your bike, you know? You still have to deal with that. That's part of existence.
Yeah.
So I don't want to shy away from it. It's such a weird thing too, man. Because you ever feel like we were talking about deja vu earlier before we started recording, and how like, because we're a little high, but how that could be like a glimpse of your past life, or like something you've experienced in another universe or something like that. Do you ever think that like every little choice that you make, that's an alteration to your entire life?
I feel like I read somewhere that deja vu is current thoughts passing through the memory part of your brain. So it plays it basically twice.
Yeah, but why does it always happen at like the smallest, weirdest times when it shouldn't be even something taking note? You know, you're never like, you'd never go to like an awesome party or, you know, a bar that has like this band that just came to town you've never heard of. And it was like a chance happening. You went to this like, you never remember those things. You never like, or you never have that feeling of deja vu with those things. You know what I'm saying? You're never like, I think I've heard this. I remember this. It's always when you're just like taking a left in front of Kroger.
Well, I feel like
what
maybe...
the fuck? I've done this before.
I guess I'm playing devil's advocate, but I feel like that's maybe the same concept as like when you forget something you wanted to say to somebody.
Yeah, and you remember it later.
Well, no, not even
remember
remember later. Just for completely just gone. And then my grandpa would say this must not been that important. And maybe that's when your brain does that kind of shit. Is whenever it sees like it kicks in involuntarily, randomly when there's like less activity.
So it's just kind of like a random like occurrence inside of your brain.
It's like a hiccup.
Yeah, or like a fart or something.
Yeah.
See, that's a very simple way of explaining it.
Right.
Yeah, but there's also, you have to pursue every avenue if you want to know. But what if it's the opposite? Well, it's like this complex thing and we don't know. Because like, this is the thing, like, it's a weird thing to be a human being because you want to know everything about your existence. Well, most people do. Or I'm not going to say most people. Some people do.
Yeah.
You want to know where people came from. You want to know where you came from. You want to know why you are a human being. You know, that whole think, therefore I am. Like, why is this going on in your head? And why I have these like myself in this life, my relationships. Like, have I done this before? Like, there's all these questions that people should ask. This is the thing I've been saying lately. And I don't know if anybody's ever said this before. But if you think you have all the answers, ask better questions. And that's what I feel like. We could always, just kind of like justify existence and like, our consciousness and go like, well, we must not have been that important. I'm not like trying to take anything away from what your grandpa was saying. But I feel like if you really are trying to figure out what this is, you have to ask every question. If the question, like, you know, the answer is going to hurt, you still have to ask a question, you know?
Yeah.
So to think, like, because that's a really cocky thing. I mean, to just go, like, that's what it is. So, no, why is what it is? I don't know. That's maybe something wrong in my brain where I'm just, like, constantly, like, I got to know every fucking detail about every fucking thing ever.
Right.
So I could try to make this make sense. Because this is a silly thing we're doing right now. We're these, like, conscious beings inside of these hormonally driven, chemically driven bodies. We're like a little tiny spaceman in the weirdest spaceship. Like, if you were in a spaceship that had to stop to take a shit, pretty sure you'd get annoyed with it. But that's what we are.
It's like and there's that episode of Rick and Morty we were talking about earlier tonight where they split up time, and that dude who works for like the time police shows up or something like that, and he's just like a testicle with arms, and he's just floating. He's wearing like rags, and his gun is like a weird worm, and like it's essentially like that. Like you're flying in a ship that is also flesh and poop and...
Yeah, exactly. It's an organic thing. It's also like whenever you dream and you think about stuff, you always remember yourself in third person. When you think of yourself, you don't think of yourself like this, you always think of yourself like a little bit behind yourself, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like, are these just like these, meat suits, you've heard it called that.
Yeah.
Is the meat suit picking on the frequency of your existence, or is this it, and it is completely physical, and you get, 70 goes around the sun, that's it, you don't get shit more, or is this like an eternal thing? Has this always been happening? That's a weird thing to think about.
Existential dread.
Well, it's not so much like for me. It's not dread. It's curiosity. That's how I would put it. Existential curiosity.
I think that.
I mean, occasionally it turns into dread because sometimes I'll get too high.
Sometimes it gets bleak.
Or sometimes you just feel too small.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird thing. But also for the most part, I feel like this really big thing that you can explore, and that's usually what keeps me excited about something. It's like, can I think of something and pop it into existence, like an idea in my head of where I want something to go. Like, not so much like a physical thing, but like, all right, I got to do this showcase. If I'm constantly positive about it, does it go in a positive way?
Speaking things into existence.
Exactly, like affirmations, those type of things, or relationships, or all of this. So, but then you look at how much it does happen and does work for people with that stuff. It's like, okay, well then maybe this isn't just completely physical. We don't just have these goes around the sun. I mean, this is maybe a simulation, or I mean like the Matrix or anything like that. Like, but like, this is all in our heads. You don't see. This is why consciousness is such a weird topic. Existence. Like, we can go on for hours and hours about this because no one fucking knows.
Right.
We have theories. We have very solid theories, but
and it's not like you can't come. You can come back and tell me either. It's not like if you died, you could come back and be like, "Oh shit, dude." Like,
yeah.
It's like I'm a ghost now.
Yeah. You think that's like what ghosts are? Is people are trying really hard to do that. It just doesn't work out. It's like now I'm stuck in this stairwell in Missouri, and they're like, "That's the ghost of
old
whatever
Smitty
address."
mansion.
Yeah, exactly. He's stuck down there on Pine Street at the end in the mansion. It's scary. I don't know why I'm doing this accent. That was a weird thing.
It's fun.
Was pretty Missouri?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Okay. Well, it's like a big-haired bride from Texas.
It was more Texas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cause the check, bitch.
Texas, the whole fucking state.
That's right.
I would prefer it in taxpayer money.
Or bearer bonds.
Or just personal checks.
Yeah. Or weed.
Or, how about a T-bone steak?
100 of them. 100,000 of them.
Throw them all through a warm room.
Nope, freeze them, we're going to sell them.
All right.
Well, I mean, 100,000 steaks. That's a lot of. That's a lot of. I don't have that many. How am I that much money for freezers? What are we gonna do with all these fucking steaks, Pauly? This is gonna smell up this house.
Also name the Panhandle of Texas, South Oklahoma.
I was gonna go with like East New Mexico.
No, that's gonna be like your
West Louisiana.
Southwest Texas is gonna be like.
Can we call it Mexico's Canada?
Could we call it New Mexico Juniors? Like with apostrophe S at the end. I just cracked myself up. That's
Can we just call it Austin? The whole state of Texas is now Austin.
No.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't.
That's such a weird city, dude. Because you go there, like, I don't know if you've been recently. I mean, it's like, I really like it there, but it's like this idea of like keep Austin weird. First of all, not original. Jack that shit from Portland. And second of all, it's like you're not keeping Austin weird. You're just like purposely making it weird at most times, so it just seems contrite. It's not like, you know, going and you're experiencing like, oh, this is cool. These people are just having fun and doing stuff. And you're like, man, they're going out of their way to keep up this facade.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Pseudo weird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a faux, you know, or these people are trying to be really original, but they're trying so hard that at the same time all these other people are trying so hard that they all just seem the same.
What if this whole
And it doesn't
time
seem original?
Portland took that from Eugene, and Eugene is just like Ghost Rider.
From Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
No, you didn't mean him. Who'd you mean?
Eugene, Oregon. I just
Oh.
meant another town was like, keep Eugene weird. And Portland was like,
So
good
Jack and that
slogan,
shit.
yeah.
You got a bigger population.
like Portland flexed on Eugene, and Eugene was like, alright,
Alright, dude.
all
Phone check.
Jeez.
Well, you also have Salem there, too. It's like, why would you name this town after that other town where they...
Burned all them hoes.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
Burning
That's
them
the worst
hoes.
way.
Dude, I watched this thing on it, how... Because the main product of Salem at the time was wheat.
Right.
And if wheat gets a certain fungus on it when it ferments, if you consume any of it, it causes hallucinations, like on the level of schizophrenia. And like dysentery type
Right.
conditions, but not like to the same extent. So they think that whole city might have been batshit, or that whole town at the time, that
Just
settlement,
fucking tripping
batshit
balls,
crazy because
yeah.
they were tripping their balls and they didn't know they were fucking tripping their balls. So
They were
just
probably
like,
still using mercury to shape hats and put
not
on
helping
people.
that, and probably
No.
also to treat the madness or whatever was going on with like lithium and mercury and shit intravenously. So these people are all just going fucking crazy and thinking these women are witches.
Have you seen the movie The Witch?
No, with the two V's.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You
I've
have
heard it's,
to
like,
see that movie.
Super intense.
It's super intense. It's visually incredible. But I mean, it's
I heard it like disheartening and like unsettling.
well, I bring up like the movie The Thing a lot on this fucking podcast, but it captures an amount of like stress and tension that a lot of movies can't, and The Witch does, and it
Well,
does
like a primal
hard.
fear.
Like a
Because we've
what?
talked about this. Like the thing about The Thing, the primal fear there is the isolation.
That's exactly what this
It's like
is.
this
too.
is the group of people that have to deal with this. No more, because they can't fucking come here right now. Because this shit is isolated.
Well, that's like 127 hours didn't fit that script for me. Like it didn't.
It's supposed to, but
It's
didn't.
supposed to, but it didn't. It didn't hold on to like the absolute isolation.
Yeah, so it kind of went more with like the. Like, I'm running out of food. I'm running out of
I
water.
will
Like,
survive.
like, yeah, also kind of more like the Survivor Man version of it. Like,
Yeah.
that, like perseverance as opposed to like these are dire straits. I mean, obviously that is too, but like this, there's nothing else
Yeah.
besides this. That guy had an option. You watch the thing. Once they realize that thing's there, they either have to kill it or make sure it doesn't go anywhere else. So one of those options, you're dying because you can't leave.
But that's and that's what the witch is the entire time. But it's also like, I don't know. You know what? They fit together very well. The witch and the thing. They like accuse each other of being witches throughout. And it's just one family who leaves a settlement to basically start building another settlement. And they, like a pioneer family, early, and like, oh man, the way that whole movie flows, it keeps you lean forward, and it moves slow, and that's the thing, like that they capture your attention in a slow-paced movie so strong, like you cannot look away. There's like and it's reminiscent of like The Shining with like the way they played the music off of sound effects and stuff like that. Like, or things happening in the room, like Jack Nicholson throwing the tennis ball up against the wall, and whenever it opens that scene, it's like panning to him, but you don't know what that sound is. It just sounds like some kind of percussionist. And then when it gets to him, it's just him throwing the tennis ball against the wall, but it leads to nothing, essentially. Like, or when Danny is riding his big wheel and it is hitting the carpet and then hitting the like concrete floor and then hitting the carpet, and the way that the sound moves with the movie, they do that with the music in The Witch, and it's just, but it's they lead you off because the music is fitting, but it's anticlimactic. Like, the scenes during a lot of the like tense music are anticlimactic, and it's just like, why did they choose that? Like, it bothers you. It bothers the entire movie.
So it's like an audio misdirection.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you feel like something is coming. Like, it starts, your chest starts to cave in, and you're just like, oh shit, it's on its way, and then it's just like a duck. Like,
and then the next time it does it, you're like, I don't know if I trust this, and then it happens. You're like, fuck. They got me.
Yeah, throughout. And there's like, it's like old-timey speak, and like, dude, it's
so it kind of pushes the comfort zone while also, like we said, like that kind of like sleight of hand. Like,
yeah.
It's over here, but it's over here.
And I don't know, like
this direction.
Yeah, and like they use this concept of like severe religious paranoia. Essentially, like there's the movie
is based in 2017.
Yeah, exactly. Donald Trump is already president.
Yeah,
he makes an appearance himself.
Boy.
Yeah, he shows up. He's like, yeah, this movie's great.
It's gonna be huge.
We're gonna the best directors.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, look how many districts they won. It's gonna be huge.
Huge.
It's such a fucking silly thing. We talk about existence, we bring this fucking... Alright, don't get me wrong. He's our president. Cool, whatever.
No, this is the first time...
Cocksucker, dude.
Fuck him. He's the worst.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, if you're hearing this, don't cut us a check.
No,
we don't want to fucking put you anymore in debt, you piece of shit.
This is the thing, is like... He lied about everything. Like, look at this, like...
I already have a problem.
I have a problem with politicians already because of campaign lies or campaign promises, which are lies. Don't fucking get it mistaken. If you're a constituent of a candidate of anything that promised the majority of his constituents something and he does not follow through, he's a turd. But you as a person you're not on his ass about following through because you're the fuck that voted for him. You're just as much at fault.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with these Donald Trump. They're like, oh, he's going to drain the swamp. He's going to do all this shit. He's anti-crooked Hillary, blah, blah, blah. Tax plate, breaks for the middle class. None of that shit. And when he said drain the swamp, he meant like a literal swamp because he gutted the EPA. And all those single people, they're like, oh, I might have been wrong. It's like, no, you don't get to say I might have been wrong. You have to fucking be on his heels. Calling, doing whatever, affecting local votes and then state votes that affect that to make sure those fucks do what you wanted them to do. Because if you won the vote, you clearly were passionate about what they were saying, and will fucking stick up to your end of the bargain. Otherwise, they're just as much at fault. Sorry, that was a rant. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what politics are. Like, this is why... I mean, this whole idea of a two-party system, this is the silliest thing ever because they're going to do the same thing either way. And the American public, the average consumer, I'll call him, I'm not even going to call him a person. I'll call him a consumer, the average consumer, because what they've been turned into, because this is corporatism in this country. They believe this two-party bullshit Like, they're different.
And then fucking, you see that, and then you see like Fox News and CNN just at each other's throats about it. Like they're both like they're playing opposite ends of the field. They're the most watched news networks.
Yeah, they're getting the ratings on either end.
Fucking ever, yeah. And
exactly.
they just fucking high five all the time for it.
Exactly.
They're just like, dude, we nailed this. We nailed this shit.
With the internet in your fingertips, your cell phone, why would you take your news from one source? Because you could look up 10 sources in 5 minutes and read the first paragraph and, figure like there's all these different angles for everything.
Yeah.
People want stuff so cut and dry. And that's not always what it is. Sometimes it's complicated. And if you're not going to cover that and give honest facts, like there's anything else, give facts and be unbiased, but just show it. Because that's what people want now. They want drama. They want morality in it. That's why ESPN is what it is. They're never showing you the stats and how somebody did. They're like, do you think Derrick Rose was out of line at the press conference? Like that's the question. That's like one of the headlines. Like you broadcast sports information. How he feels about something personally. Why the fuck do I care? How well did he do? Because he's an athlete.
Right.
I don't give a shit what he does offside. I mean, like, as far as, like, what you should televise, his personal life or his personal opinions, I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, they're their own, like, ESPN, they've got a handle on the fucking planet because they're their own thing. They get to have their own, basically, like, TMZ. They get to have their own, all of that, but it's all sports people.
But there's a reason why they were my example is because I feel like since, like, reality TV and stuff like that, it's kind of this cultivated drama for something that doesn't need it has spilled over into all things American.
It's fucking garbage.
Politics,
reality television,
TV, athletics, like all these things. Like people want they're so addicted to drama now.
It's fucking children.
Exactly. Like, remember earlier we were talking about like the first response they get, they go with that. They don't ask any questions, just move. Like I ask myself. Like, if I'm doing something, I fucking get... My anxiety is me asking myself questions about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Even I'm like, this is the right thing to do. I should do it. I'm fucking asking myself a million questions, and sometimes I'll just, like, sit back and stall and don't even do the right thing. I just procrastinate.
Well, yeah.
And just because I'm asking myself so many questions, but I'm asking those questions still. And you're not getting that from the majority of people. That's why we have Donald Trump as the president. That's why ESPN is pretty much gossip sports. That's why people care more about what a candidate doesn't like as opposed to what they're saying.
Not even just as opposed to what they're saying. They're not. They eat up what they're saying.
Yeah,
that's the issue. That's the problem. Also, they don't.
There's also there's the same people that do that, but they're also there's people that voted for Donald Trump not because they like what Donald Trump's saying, but because they don't like Hillary Clinton.
Exactly, or because I'm not a fucking Democrat.
Exactly,
fucking hang
like
yourself.
they've
or I'm
given
not
themselves
a
these labels of this bipartisanship. That's fucking bullshit.
Right.
From jump one, because everything that Hillary said she was going to do, Donald Trump's doing right now. And the only reason why he's getting away with more people would have held her more accountable because she's a woman and she's a Democrat. You can't cut the EPA if you're a Democrat.
Right.
Good fucking luck. You can't cancel Planned Parenthood if you're a Democrat. And then people, like we were talking about how people are the main resource. Conservatives are all about big business, for the most part. Like if you look at the right wing, they think they want to prop up coal.
Right.
Like it's it's still a fucking industry. We're gonna go down there gambling steamboats down the Mississippi and jerk off in the fucking Gulf. No, that's not a thing anymore. We don't need coal. We don't really need oil that much either. Like solar.
Yeah, it's not.
The reason why the solar is you can't sell the sun.
Yeah,
it's everybody's.
But you can build your own fucking solar panels.
Exactly, but they prop up these industries that are dying, and they know they're dying, but they prop them up because there's workers involved. You didn't see one Republican give a fuck about Blockbuster. How many people lost their job in a year or two because of Netflix? Not one, because they didn't have a vested interest in Blockbuster. Maybe from CDs, like the raw materials, but those are cheap as fuck.
Right.
The reason why they care about coal is they own all these coal mines and their family has for fucking 200 years.
Right.
It's still there. They're like, well, I want to make money off this. And same thing with oil. And it's just, they prop up these dirty industries because that's what makes money, and then they're like, well, it'll trickle down into the economy. It's like, no, it won't. Like, stop worrying about the economy. The economy takes care of itself. It's proven that time and time again.
Well, that's like if you are a friend or a person who pays attention to science remotely, you are an enemy of like certain, like it becomes an issue of politics and it's not. Yeah. Or it becomes an issue of religion and it's not, and that's what
fossil fuels, they make it like as an issue of science. Like, yeah, we have the science.
Yeah, we know
this shit ain't good.
Yeah, it's proven that it ain't good, and everybody's like, well, no, because if we do this much oil and we have this much money off of it, we can do this with it. We can do this, when really they're just shoving it in their fat fucking pockets.
Yeah,
and it's like and they don't even have to do that anymore. They don't even have to do that anymore. They can just be like, nah, we're making money here. We paid our money to make money here, we're gonna fucking make our money.
Well, see, the thing about those industries too is like people like the argument used to be like it's not sustainable, and they've recently figured out that like oil might not be like the organic substance we thought it was, like how it's created, because oil wells have renewed themselves. That's not the part that's sustainable. I don't care if you can get more. That's not the part that's not sustainable. The part that is not sustainable is the effects of the process. What it does to the atmosphere, the environment. These are the parts that are not sustainable. You cannot, emissions, oil leaks, these things, this is not sustainable. You cannot continue it because water doesn't just make its fucking self. We're not going to continue to get water.
Right.
It happens through condensation and stuff like that, but if you pollute all of it, or most of it, that's going to trickle through.
Yeah,
because it's not like that. Like this water right here is this water. If it's in the ocean, the molecules are moving freely. That's what a liquid is. Same thing with gases. They're moving even faster. That's the part that's not sustainable, and that's the part that those people like. Well, they don't even look at that. That's when they say it's not sustainable. It's like, well, we might not have any more of it.
Well, we found some more in fucking Canada. So
yeah, exactly. And they're like, that's not the part we're fucking talking about.
Like, you don't understand, it's not that we can dig for it or that we can fucking smash into the planet
it's what
and
you
shake
do with
it loose
once
off
you
the
get
fucking walls. Yeah, it's that you're tearing everything apart by using it.
Yeah, through all the processes. All the way to the point where it goes into your vehicle, and then there's more exhaust. That's the parts that are unsustainable, but you don't get that from conservatives because they don't care, because people are resources. As long as you get their money, who gives a fuck? That goes back to that, like, can you blame them, though? Because you only get this certain many goes around the sun. Maybe they know that. And they're like, look, man.
But, okay.
I'll give a fuck if I fuck people over. I'm a billionaire. I'm getting my dick sucked for breakfast. Ugh.
There are other intelligent forms of life, right? It's pretty much a fact now.
Mm.
There has to be. There's no, like, in our galaxy, even.
As far as the possibility, it's most likely.
To me, it's fact. It doesn't make sense.
Well, that's the thing. That's what science is, as far as the possibility goes. If it's most likely, when I say most likely, I mean like 99.9. There's no way. Like that Little Dicky song we were talking about earlier, that we're the anomaly. Bring out a boot.
Exactly, but what I'm getting at is that what we're doing as a planet, I feel like there's good guys and bad guys in space, just like fucking cowboys and outlaws, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who want to see our planet succeed, and there are people who are just like, they're a fucking disgusting hive planet, and they're going to destroy it, and we are going to we are, so they can't figure out how to get to other planets and suck the life out of those. That is what the human race looks like right now, and it sucks.
Like the Flood from Halo, but alive.
Not just like, yeah, it's not like a queen thing, I guess, which is where a hive mind would be.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's individual, quote unquote. I'll say individual because I mean, like the way we act, it's a hive mind. I feel like it trends things that people like. If there's definitely much, but it's a hive mind because this is a society. I mean, humans are very social animals. It's not like a bee. You're not pre-programmed to be social.
Right.
It's like you get the best chemical responses from enjoying good social experiences. You get, when you make friends and they enjoy the same thing, that's more of a serotonin rush. When you have sex with somebody like you really like, it feels better than just like a one-night stand, It's like these are all chemical rushes that people have, and that's what keeps us confined to the society and how it moves as a bacteria, as opposed to like a beehive where everybody's programmed to do a job. This thing is just moving, and it's not as cut and like simple as something that's already pre-programmed, because it's a bunch of individuals. Like your cells all do what they're supposed to because they're cells.
Right.
Yeah, but if you took the people on Earth and put them in a cluster like a human body as far as cells go, you're not going to get that result because it's all a bunch of individuals.
Right. And what I'm getting at is like, I was talking about the fucking flood in Southern California when we were outside.
Yeah.
Or the flood, the drought in Southern California. It's been going on for like
wine?
Ever, huh?
Was that when
yeah, that was It started off about the drought. When I lived in Southern California, dude, it was like it's dry as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I looked 20 whenever I moved there, 21 when I moved there, and I look like I'm 30 now. I was there for 3 fucking years. Like it's
the hot one.
It's dry. Like, and they sell their fucking water to Nestle and shit like that, as opposed to like, hey, okay, we're running out of water to the point where people can't run their sprinklers during the day. Granted, where I live in Southern California is basically the edge of a desert, which at one point was part of the desert.
What was that?
This was in, I lived in Redlands, and if you got on I-10 and just drove west, you would end up in Redlands about an hour before you got to LA, depending on traffic.
So like
it was like right outside of Palm
20 hours
Desert.
away from here.
22 or 23.
Yeah. So a hefty. It's a distance from here. That's so crazy too, because that place is dry as fuck and it's wet as fuck right here.
And dude, we live in the worst place for it to be wet as fuck.
Technically, it's May 1st right now, and it's like 50 degrees outside and wet as fuck.
And what sucks is that in Louisiana, it is the perfect place you would be the safest in Louisiana. I don't remember where I read that, but it's like because the humidity and the heat, like for a zombie apocalypse, they would just fall apart within a matter of like.
They get all mushy.
Yeah, they get
I
gross.
feel like the only other place that could be better would be if it was super cold, because they'd freeze solid.
Yeah, but
then you'd have to deal with living there.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, but man, that'd be all kinds. Of
No, thank you,
goop
Anchorage.
everywhere, dude. Zombie goop everywhere. It'd be like if you had like 8 dogs in like a tiny yard. Dude, it's just gonna be shit. Everywhere.
And then you got to worry about sleeper ones that are frozen and then they
Yeah.
pop up, randomly. And so
That's a weird idea for existence too, though. Like the zombie apocalypse, surviving that. Because you know how many people like they put themselves in the position of the survivor, and if you look at how many zombies there are, like statistically,
this
probably
zombie,
not you.
I think it's called just the Zombie Survival Guide, or maybe the Zombie Apocalypse
I've
Survival
seen it.
Guide.
I've read it.
It's the same guy.
It's actually right there. Right there.
Where?
Right there. 4th book from the right.
The Zombie Survival Guide. Yeah.
Boom. Right
Max
there.
Brooks. Okay. They talk about. I think it's them who talk about Louisiana. There's a hand in a swamp right now, on like the little picture on the spine of the book, the back, whatever the fuck you call it, and they talk about how Louisiana, everything would deteriorate the fastest, everything, or just like the humid fucking dirty South, and which is
just mush.
yeah, they would just they'd be putting in no time. The amount of animals that would not mind eating them.
Yeah, crabs.
They would be nothing.
Fish.
Fucking
So people don't
alligators on
understand this,
special days.
Like shrimp and crab and stuff, they're scavengers.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
dude, it's like if you've eaten shrimp and crab your whole life, odds are one of them ate off at least one human dead
Yeah,
body.
you ate at least one person.
Yeah.
Look, I got a pee, so I'm saying smoke break.
Do it.
Smoke break.
So it's not like we're back. I don't remember. Fuck it. So it's not like this thing where like, all right, damn it, we are back. I was gonna try to continue the conversation, but
we'll catch everyone up
we
first.
Let them know what we're talking about. This idea that like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to right now, right? If you're being proactive in your own story, and people, that's what we stress. We stress about that shit, man. They're like, oh, it's not going this way. It's going that way. It's not going that way. If you just trust in the system, that if you trust yourself and you trust in like your worth ethic and what you're doing, like it's gonna go the way it was supposed to go. Not every little thing is gonna go your way.
Right, and it's well, I mean, obviously not life is a son of a bitch, but
so much that it is, but it can be.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is like you don't have a set path. If you do, I think that life would be a lot more easy.
Yeah.
You don't have a set path, but you do have your guts, and you do have an innate ability to suspect what is good for you and what is bad for you, and you don't always make the best decisions, but you do have that built-in fucking however many cluster of cells in your brain that tells you,
neurons?
Hey, yeah, or how.
You
whatever.
realize you have those in your ID tract too? You have neurons in your stomach. Pretty much like very similar to brain cells and stuff like that. That's why you get gut feelings. It's such a weird thing.
But more often than not, those things are going to guide you to the right, to the right place. And whether it's...
Well, dude, always trust the gut. It should go this way: gut, brain, heart.
But I think, like, with the industry that we're in and the industry that we're trying to get into, and I know fucking jack shit about it, but the stand-up industry and the entertainment industry, it's like you are given a handful of opportunities to just quit a day.
Oh, you're given more opportunity to quit than you are to succeed. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's
wasn't that where the whole vigilance thing comes in? Like how hard are you pursuing it to where you're in those places?
Well, that's the thing is that I see a lot of people who are like just like the backyard wrestling thing. We see a lot of there's a lot of people out there who see this thing that they want or that they think they want, and they're hi ho about it, and it's then they have 1-2 bad nights, and
that's it.
It's completely destroyed their fucking lives.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it ever again, whether it be music or comedy or fucking bare knuckle fighting.
No, you should probably
Channing Tatum style shit, and
you should maybe get into a better profession than that. Well, the thing too is like, I think it depends on like your mentality going to it is on you, and it's also circumstantial, like your environment to a degree. Like I started doing stand up at Luna. Luna doesn't like. You have so many guys that come here from out of town. They're like, they have a good crowd, and they come back and it's dead. They're like, what happened? Like, this is Luna.
No,
so
this is
very
Lake
receptive
Charles.
button. Like all those
you can't
places,
put that on Luna. I mean, as much as Luna is, it is Lake Charles.
Yeah, I've only ever had like one shit experience out of town as far as the set's concerned. Like when I go to Lafayette or Baton Rouge, I get the laughs where I want to get the laughs, where I'm working on stuff. And it's every time. It's consistent. You can come to Luna and tell the same jokes, and you might eat dick.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out for a solid fucking 2 years and be doing stand-up and have a good show every single time or an okay show every single time, and then...
Alright, I'm good. My bad.
It's the vape, dude.
Yeah.
So...
I use it often, so...
You can, you can go on and feel like you're the most successful comedian or what the fuck ever of all time, and then have one bad show. And a lot of people who get that early success, whenever they have a bad thing, a bad show, or get booed off stage, or get fucking cricketed off stage, there's a lot of people who are just like, well, I'm not cut out for this, and that could have been their entire life's goal, but they, I don't even remember where we were getting started about this, but
people that are like kind of okay with just like taking the easiest path to it, and then also there's people that kind of got caught up in the success of the easy path, and how they kind of gloat.
Yeah, they
like your passion is really like if you like how there's so many more opportunities to fail at something than there are to succeed.
Right.
And that's almost everything.
Right. Just
and it's
like,
but if you're persistent and you're always continuing to do that, you'll eventually be in the right place at the right time.
So, but I mean,
'cause that's what it is, all
what did we open up this conversation with?
Existence?
No, I mean this conversation coming back from the smoke break.
I don't remember, man.
It was
diverged so much from it. I mean, neither one of us are sober.
Yeah. Drugs.
Yeah.
So we
Rhymes with schmexishy.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that if you have this goal, and if you've had it, for long enough, and you think like this is the path that I'm supposed to take, what's the fucking point in talking yourself out of it?
Yeah.
What's the point? The first thing I wanted to be when I was a kid was a fucking cartoon character.
I wanted to be a dinosaur.
Exactly. I mean, my little brother wanted to be a possum, so. But
smart kid. They only live for a year
possums
on average. Yeah, a year expectancy for their life.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Not if you're a fucking possum, man. You want to get that shit over with.
They're the Mr. Meeseeks of the marsupial world.
Yeah, if I was a possum, I'd be like, man, let's shorten this shit up.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't like being the only American marsupial.
It's like a werewolf rat.
Dude, they're cute.
Okay.
I mean, unless they're fucking like showing their teeth off.
Or
you're
adults.
Like, you are a demon.
Yeah. And I was like,
you couldn't see what he was doing, but it was pretty close to exactly what a possum looks like.
They're always
playing dead.
Jerky and weird. Like, if you get near them, they just kind of go and jerk. And then once they realize they're in danger, they try to run away. And it's like, what have you been doing for 2 minutes, you idiot?
You've just been getting stomped on by a Great Dane for
exactly
an hour and a half instead of like just taking all those blows, man.
Dude, I remember me and my brother were kids. We lived in China Springs, Texas. And it's like out in the middle of this cedar mesquite forest. There's rattlesnakes during the summer everywhere. And we had like this kiddie pool that our ducks would play in. During the winter, my dad would dump it out and he'd dump it over. And it was spring, because we liked that kiddie pool because it didn't have like the slide. And we had 2 pet turtles. We'd let them swim in there, and the ducks would play in it. And like it's starting to kind of to become spring. So we're about to be using that swimming pool soon. We're sitting there in our underwear, both the turtle and the ducks. This is gonna be awesome. My dad goes to lift it up because it's upside down. He just put it down. He goes inside and gets his 22, and he just starts shooting the shit out of our swimming pool, like in all directions. And we're like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like shot all over it. And he lifts up and there's like this possum under there twitching. He's like, "This is the biggest possum I've ever seen." Like, why did you shoot a swimming pool though, man? It's just a possum. You could just lift it up and shot him. I don't know why he did that. Probably because they're terrifying when they're showing teeth, like you said.
Yeah, they're.
He just opened it up and he's like, "Oh, Howling 4, no." Great shitty werewolf movie, by the way.
But what I'm getting at is that if you see something and you feel like, in the back of your mind that is where you're supposed to be in your life, you're not. You're not supposed to be anywhere, but if it hits your brain that hard that is where you're supposed to be, then be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Do the fucking thing that it feels right to do.
Well, this is the thing about, like, wherever you are, that's where you are going to be. That's a weird thing to think about. Because,
but that doesn't that
like time is either linear, and we've already done this before, or we're on the forefront. That would explain no time travel.
Right.
We're the tip of the bullet,
Right.
But other than that, if you're not the tip of the bullet, you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Regardless of how you think about it, so you might as well accept that. The only thing that you can do is like keep that positive mentality and keep yourself pushing, and it will progress, obviously, as opposed to going like, you can have the check like, I'm gonna start working out tomorrow and really focus on these things I want to do. It's like, or I can buy some meth, whatever. Like, if you've never done either, if you've never pursued your goals or bought meth, tomorrow you can pick to do either one. But whenever you go down that road, as far as this is concerned, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. And you made that choice. So you do kind of control time to a degree.
No. What is it? Who is it that says like time is more of
relevance?
I mean, yeah.
Einstein.
Well, yeah, Einstein, like time is relevant. I was just trying to find a better example than Einstein and
I mean, well, that's pretty
relativity, but I guess
knows
yeah,
that one. Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
Time
the
is
tuxedoed example.
Charging it up a bit, eh?
Yeah. So time plus life goals did not equal a set path, I don't think.
So this is random.
I think that, well, not just random, but I think that if...
Influenceable.
Your path is behind you. It is not ahead of you. You are creating your path as you walk it, right? I guess that makes it the forefront of time.
Yeah. Sorry. Got distracted.
So, I would rather think in terms that I'm on the forefront of my time and not a linear version of it.
So it's options at this point as opposed to predetermined behaviors.
But it's every single option.
Yeah, so you could change it. You could pick it any one you want. And at any moment, if it's not going the way you want, you can change those behaviors that you're doing because it's not set in stone.
Right. And because of that, if you think that your righteous pathway to success or to happiness or whatever the fuck is stand-up comedy or fucking jerking off dudes in parking lots, whatever the fuck that path is, like what Abe Lincoln said, it was like whatever, if you're gonna be bad, be good at it, or whatever the fuck he told that hooker in that story that I heard in elementary school.
Wasn't it like you're gonna have to be good or be good at it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's what it was. I used to have a boss that would say that. His name is Oso. Just bear in Spanish. He's a giant man.
Neat. His parents were very ahead of the game on that one.
You want to end it right there, man?
Yeah.
That was good. His parents
cutting it off, guys. Yeah. Do what you love.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And I'm so glad to be back on this fucking podcast.
Don't forget, Poor Man's Pod. Yes, this is the thing. Is like, if you took anything from tonight, because we kind of came into it with the idea of talking about existence and just kind of breaking that down on our own, on personal levels and like bigger thoughts. But like seriously, pursue what you love, people.
As far as plugs go, we really don't have much going on. The end of May, we're supposed to be doing a live podcast at Sloppy's downtown.
There'll be a roast in May as well.
There's going to be the roast of Ethan
every Sunday,
DeBarge
Luna downtown.
in May. Every Sunday, Luna downtown.
Every other Thursday, Sloppy's downtown.
Yeah.
If you just want to go there to eat food, don't go there because we're there. They're fucking awesome people. As far as, the owners are cool. Food's great.
So, yeah, but we got a lot of stuff coming your way. We're working on getting involved with video.
That's why we're taking this break, man. We really kind of wanted to fill it out, and then we all kind of came back and we're like, man, we just enjoy this too much. We need to work. And after this, the majority of these will be more sober-based conversations, even though we do very well, even intoxicated to a degree. Kind of go on deeper areas. But we also want to have better guests for people to have, and then videos like we talked about.
Video, more content for the Facebook and the website. Fucking memes, dude.
Also, so if you have any advice on stuff or just suggestions on things you want to hear, Poor Man's Podcast. Poor Man's will be one word with an apostrophe. Podcast on Facebook. That's the best way to reach us right now. Any suggestions you may have, send them our way.
Or just, send money.
Yeah.
Because we are poor mans.
Yeah, we do have a Patreon.
And
we're about to set up.
And rent.
All right, well, this has been Poor Man's Podcast. I'm Jay Moody.
I'm Pauly Ray.
Fuckers.
We're so glad to be back.
You fuckers have a great night, great day, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Enjoy it.
All right, yeah.